Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby Beyond Forever Sport and the Springboks back to being the most hated team in the world, apparently. It's a very interesting reaction. We are a couple of days beyond the World Cup win, and the Springboks have just arrived back in the country to thousands, literally thousands of South Africans who have flooded to our Tambo to welcome the world champions back to South Africa. There was dancing, there was singing, it was absolutely electric. It was phenomenal. And it's incredible watching the scenes unfold in South Africa, the message of support, the celebrations, the general feeling across the country. And then you look at the reaction to the win from overseas. And it's really, really sad, I think, that we're talking about a team, one of the greatest teams of all time. They are. I'm not going to sit there and having the conversation about are they the greatest team of all time, because that's causing quite a lot of debate. But to sit there saying they're not within the top 2-3 best rugby teams of all time is simply wrong. They are. They're only the second team to go back-to-back for World Cups. They are the first team ever to go back-to-back away World Cups. And the first team ever to go back-to-back whilst winning a British and Irish Lions series in between. So in the space of 4 years, they won 2 World Cups and a British and Irish Lions series. No team's ever done that. And yet, we're now sitting here watching the reaction unfold. And as usual, a lot of foreign media, a lot of very specific media, have come out and slammed the Springboks and accused them of killing the game. And it's such a boring rhetoric. It really is. So before I talk about exactly what's being said and why it's, so much nonsense and why it's, so sad to see that this sort of thing happens, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, the Boks getting back-to-back. That's as much what we know. And, it's interesting because we saw the same thing happen in 2019 when the Boks won it. A lot of foreign media took aim at the Boks tactics, for example. Very forwards-dominated game, 6-2 split. Completely ignoring the fact that, the 2 tries scored in the 2 iconic tries in that World Cup final back 2019 were scored, first of all, by either South African wings, on the wings as well. Tries down the wings, stuff like that, which is, always the hallmark of the game. Where do you want to score your tries? By the wings and the corner and stuff like that. That is apparently what great rugby is all about. But once again, they took aim, they talked about boring rugby, they talked about the Boks, killing the game in inverted commas. And it's, as usual, lazy journalism and has risen its head again. And we are once again hearing stories about, headlines like, well done to the Springboks, the only team to not play rugby. And the ironic thing is that in 2019, it was a stupid argument. Now it's just a factually incorrect argument, to be perfectly honest. The Springboks went through that World Cup campaign where they beat Scotland pretty convincingly, scoring tries with cross kicks, scoring more tries, playing some scintillating rugby. I mean, Marlon Liebach whipped out a no-look cross kick, against Scotland to win 18 points to 3. This is a team ranked 5th in the world, by the way. 5th in the world, 18-3. They then ran in 76 points to 0 against Romania. They then lost to Ireland 8 points to 13, a game which was considered one of the best games of all time. A game which had 1 try in it. 2 tries, try a piece. Ireland scoring just the 1 try. This being Ireland, the revolutionary attacking team, which had changed the game, playing the game the way it's supposed to be, and it managed 1 try. After that, South Africa went on to beat Tonga 49 points to 18, scoring a bonus point try in. And then went on to beat France 29 points to 28, where they actually outscored them from a try perspective, 4 tries to 3, including tries for Currie Arendse, tries for Ches and Colby, your wing scoring tries. And then, as conditions got worse, and as we got to playoff rugby, the Boks reverted, in inverted commas, to playoff rugby. And they reverted to certain tactics, like going into the air, for example, a tactic which, by the way, England were hailed by the world by the fact that they pushed the Boks so close and almost upset the Boks by going to what would traditionally be called negative rugby, going to the air, keeping it forward dominated. But, of course, it's okay then because it's not the Springboks doing it. And the Boks had to win by just 1 point against England. And then South Africa versus New Zealand, a 1-point game. And no tries being scored by South Africa, so therefore apparently it doesn't matter. And it's just lazy. Again, we talk about headlines like the friendless Springboks, and all of a sudden there's like this all these threads being written on Twitter or X and all these things about how the fact that they cannot be considered one of the greatest teams of all time because of negative tactics. And again, it's just laziness. The Springbok team is not boring. The Springbok team attack has evolved immensely. This is the same Springbok team that hammered New Zealand 35 points to 7. The biggest loss New Zealand have ever recorded. This is a team during the warm-up to the World Cup that beat Wales 52 points to 16. That beat Australia 43 points to 12. It's a team that have scored lots of tries this year, that has played some incredible rugby this year, and have evolved their game plan a lot. And if you don't think they have, you just either know that they have and refuse to believe it, or you just don't watch rugby. It's that simple. And the nice thing is, I think South Africans just decided we don't care anymore. We're just tired of it. And the nice thing, and this is the thing, is if you're a rugby fan, I think you'll notice that there's been a lot of support from other supporters, other fans. I've seen so many All Blacks fans in the comments just saying, "What a team! What a final! What a moment!" So many other teams of other nations coming out and saying, "Yeah, well, it's just an incredible team." And it's just so lazy and boring that as soon as the Springboks win, as soon as South Africa do well, it gets undermined all the time. That was the single greatest World Cup campaign of all time. You can't even argue it in terms of the first. I mean, we had to beat everybody in the top 6. Losing one game. They beat they beat 4 out of 5 in the top 6 to win that World Cup. No other team even, I think, had recorded even more than 2 victories against teams in the top 5. We had to beat the current hosts. We lost to the number 1 side in the world and went on to win the World Cup. By the time we played against Zealand, they had beaten the number 1 side in the world, and then we had to beat them. So it's a very lazy and boring narrative. And again, as South to do it, I think just hold your head up high. At the end of the day, Dan Biggar said it last year, and I was there at the press conference where he said, if boring rugby wins you trophies, then maybe we should all start playing a bit more boring rugby. And that, I think, is the main thing. It's the Boks scored tries for fun throughout the group stages, but when it came to tight games and when it came to the playoffs, they played playoff rugby. And the playoff rugby means being a bit more cautious, for example, and more conservative to win trophies. Why would you not do that? And this whole thing of it's going to kill rugby. Look at South Africa, look at the people, look at the reactioners, look at what it does to a country, and tell me that you watch that game and it's boring. You look at the figures from the World Cup. It's the most watched World Cup of all time. We're going to be doing a video reacting to some of the numbers. So it was the most watched World Cup of all time. The Springboks were the most mentioned team by almost like 4 times as much as the next team. So they are huge, absolutely massive at the moment. And to sit there and basically imply that success is not going to breed growth for the competition is pretty stupid and pretty linear and pretty simple, to be honest. So yeah, I thought I'd just give a bit of a video reaction. We are going to be looking at a little bit more over the next few days, and obviously we'll be covering the trophy celebrations as we focus on the positives. We will be at the trophy parade on Thursday here in Johannesburg as it kicks off, and really looking forward to bringing that to you. So please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.